Why these are 2025's most luxurious cars. Let's be real, everyone wants a taste of luxury. The buttery leather seats, the whisper quiet ride, the kind of car that makes you feel like royalty. Today, I'll show you the 9 most luxurious cars of 2025, the ones that redefine what premium really means. And wait till you see number 3. It's so outrageously over the top that even millionaires are double-checking their bank accounts. Number 9 is the 2025 Rimac Navara with a car and driver rating of 9 out of 10, starting at a cool $2.2 million. I've been following Rimac since they were converting BMWs in a garage, and what they've done with the Navara isn't just impressive, it's honestly a bit terrifying. 1,800 plus horsepower from 4 electric motors sounds made up until you experience 1.85 seconds to 60 miles per hour. You'll literally experience 1.5 G's of force, pushing you back into your seat. That's more G-force than astronauts feel during some rocket launches. However, the real breakthrough isn't the power, it's the battery technology. That 120 kilowatt per hour pack isn't just for juice, it's actually structural, contributing 37% to the chassis stiffness. And that carbon monocoque, 2,200 feet-pounds of torsional stiffness. For context, that's stiffer than most race cars. The precision in cornering is something you have to feel to believe. The Navara makes this list at number 9, not because it lacks anything, but because the electric hypercar game is just getting started. Mate Rimac basically invented this category, and now everyone's playing catch-up. Number 8 is the 2024 Aston Martin Valkyrie with a car and driver rating of 9 out of 10, starting at $3.5 million. Let me tell you something about the Valkyrie that hasn't made it into the press releases. This thing shouldn't even be street legal. I'm dead serious. When Adrian Newey designed this car, the original aero package was so extreme they had to dial it back for homologation. The 6.5-liter V12 was literally too loud in early testing. It exceeded race car decibel limits. They had to redesign the exhaust system 3 times. And that 11,100 RPM redline? It's pure F1. That spine-tingling howl that makes every other engine sound asleep. The cockpit is so tight that during development, they actually 3D scanned potential owners' bodies to ensure they'd fit. I'm not even joking. If you're over 6 foot 2 inches, good luck. Only 150 will exist, and they're already trading hands privately for well over $5 million. The people who got allocations are mostly the collectors who've bought multiple special edition Astons in the past. Money alone couldn't get you on the list. Number 7 is the 2024 Pagani Utopia with a car and driver rating of 9.5 out of 10, priced at $2.19 million with 852 horsepower. While other manufacturers boast about their latest touchscreens and digital interfaces, Pagani proudly presents the Utopia with none of that. Instead, you get analog instruments. Every switch, toggle, and control is milled from solid aluminum. Even the gear selector is a mechanical work of art, exposed linkage and all. It has 67 individual parts machined to tolerances normally reserved for Swiss watches. Is this practical? Not really. Is it breathtaking? Absolutely. The 6.0-liter twin-turbocharged V12 AMG engine produces 852 horsepower, but that's almost secondary to the experience. Paired with a proper 7-speed manual transmission, yes, in 2025, Pagani offers a true manual. It delivers a visceral connection between driver and machine that's becoming increasingly rare. The exhaust is titanium but coated with ceramic derived from aerospace technology. Apparently, Pagani wasn't satisfied with how the metal aged after heat cycles. The ceramic ensures it'll patina beautifully over decades. Only 99 exist, and every single one was customized with the owner during day-long specification sessions. Each one takes over 9 months to build. No two are identical. In the Utopia, Pagani hasn't created a car for the future. They've preserved what makes driving special in the first place. And in 2025, that might be the most luxurious experience of all. Number 6 is the 2024 Ferrari 812 GTS with a car and driver rating of 9.5 out of 10, coming in at $433,765 with an EPA combined rating of 13 miles per gallon. This is probably the last naturally aspirated V12 convertible they'll ever make. The emissions regulations coming down the pipeline in 2026 basically ensure it. That 6.5-liter V12 producing 789 horsepower at 8,500 RPM is automotive endangered species territory. No turbos, no hybrid assistance, just pure, unadulterated combustion perfection. It'll hit 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds and keep pulling well past 200 miles per hour. But that's not the point. The point is how it makes you feel when you're rowing through the 7-speed dual clutch transmission with those carbon fiber paddle shifters. The chassis rigidity is the real engineering triumph here, guys. Most convertibles flex like yoga instructors when you push them. But Ferrari added just 165 pounds of structural reinforcement while maintaining 99% of the coupe's torsional rigidity. The roof mechanism is a mechanical symphony that deploys in 14 seconds at speeds up to 28 miles per hour. At only $433,765, I think it's actually underpriced for what you're getting. A V12 Ferrari convertible that'll be worth double in a decade. Mark my words on that. Look, I know you're obsessed with automotive excellence as I am, but before we get to the top 5, do me a solid and smash that subscribe button. I spend ridiculous amounts of time getting manufacturer access and insider info for these videos, and subscribing actually helps me keep doing it. Alright, let's get to the really wild stuff with our top 5. The 2025 McLaren 750S with a car and driver rating of 9.5 out of 10, priced at $318,085. If McLaren were a chef, this model would be their signature dish. I mean, the culmination of everything they've learned, refined to absolute perfection. You get a 4.0-liter twin turbocharged V8 producing 740 horsepower. McLaren claims 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.7 seconds, but independent tests have clocked it at 2.5. When your car outperforms the manufacturer's claims, you know you're in something special. Interestingly, the 750S weighs just 3,062 pounds. For perspective, that's about the same as Honda Civic, but with 740 horsepower. The power-to-weight ratio is absolutely insane. The Proactive Chassis Control 3 suspension system uses cross-linked hydraulics instead of conventional anti-roll bars. It predicts the road conditions, delivering a ride that's somehow both supple enough for daily driving and firm enough for record-setting lap times. The cockpit is a masterclass in focused minimalism. Everything is driver-centric, with controls canted toward the pilot and nothing to distract from the driving experience. The dihedral doors aren't just for show, though they certainly draw crowds. They make ingress and egress easier while reducing the overall width of the car when opened in tight spaces. Ironically, the 750S is actually the most affordable car on our list. But among the cars on this list, it delivers the purest driving experience. Number 4 is the 2025 Ferrari 296 GTB, with a car and driver rating of 9.5 out of 10. Priced at $346,950, getting 18 miles per gallon combined. When Ferrari first announced they were putting a V6 in a mid-engine supercar, the purists lost their minds. I was skeptical too, until I saw this car. The 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6 makes 654 horsepower on its own. That's over 220 horsepower per liter, which is absolutely insanity for a production engine. Ferrari spent more development time on the exhaust note of this car than any previous model. They were paranoid about the V6 sounding cheap. They needn't have worried. The 120-degree V-angle and flat plane crank create a sound that's halfway between a vintage Ferrari V12 and an F1 car. It's glorious. The hybrid system fundamentally transforms how the car delivers power. The electric motor fills in torque while the turbos spool, creating what Ferrari engineers call zero turbo lag. The E-Monotino selector lets you choose how the hybrid system behaves. In qualify mode, it prioritizes performance over battery preservation, essentially turning the electric motor into an overboost system. The chassis is 50% stiffer than the F8 Tributo it effectively replaces, and the car is 60 pounds lighter despite carrying a battery pack and electric motor. The aerodynamics generate 794 pounds of downforce at 155 miles per hour, keeping the car planted through high-speed corners. At this price range, you're getting supercar performance with hybrid sophistication that actually makes daily driving easier. Number 3 is the 2025 Ferrari Daytona SP3 with a perfect car and driver rating of 10 out of 10, carrying a price tag of $2.2 million. The SP3 is part of Ferrari's ultra-exclusive Icona series. It's a rolling tribute to Ferrari's racing heritage, specifically the 1-2-3 finish at the 1967 24 Hours of Daytona. This car looks impossibly low and wide in person. The proportions are so extreme that it creates a visual drama nothing else on the road can match. The 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12, making 829 horsepower, is actually derived from the 812 Competizone's engine, but with revised intake geometry and valve timing. What the spec sheet doesn't tell you is that the throttle response is instantaneous, like neuron-to-neuron connection instantaneous. The butterfly doors incorporate air channels that feed the side intakes. Ferrari's aerodynamicists spent over 1,200 hours in the wind tunnel just optimizing the door shape and its interaction with the rest of the bodywork. Inside, the fixed carbon fiber seats are molded directly into the chassis. You don't adjust the seat, you adjust the pedals and steering wheel. It's pure race car philosophy, guys. Despite being part of the Icona series, the engineering is cutting-edge modern. The Aero produces substantial downforce without any visible wings or spoilers. It's all done through underbody channeling and carefully sculpted surfaces. All 599 were sold before the public even saw the car. The selection process was invitation only, and Ferrari prioritized collectors who already owned multiple special editions. Number 2 is the 2025 Lamborghini Revuelto with a perfect car and driver rating of 10 out of 10, priced at $608,358. When Lamborghini announced the Aventador's successor would be electrified, fans held their breath. Would the brand that built its reputation on outrageous, uncompromising supercars go soft? The answer, emphatically, is no. The Revuelto isn't just a worthy successor. It's a revolution wrapped in Lamborghini's trademark angular aggression. The naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12 makes 813 horsepower on its own, and it revs to 9,500 RPM. That's higher than any previous Lamborghini V12, and the sound it makes at full chat actually triggered the track's noise monitoring system. They had to get special permission to continue testing. The 3 electric motors, 1 integrated into the transmission and 2 on the front axle, bring total output to 1,001 horsepower. Yeah, with that kind of power, it can hit 60 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds and reach a top speed of 217 miles per hour. But what's truly revolutionary is what they do for handling. With electric torque vectoring on the front axle, the Revuelto can precisely control power to each wheel. The new carbon fiber monocoque is a single piece, what engineers call monofuselage. It's 10% lighter yet 25% stiffer than the Aventador's. The suspension uses push rod design in the front and pull rod in the rear, with magnetic dampers that can adjust thousands of times per second. It's as close to a race car as you can get while still being street legal. The 8-speed dual clutch transmission is mounted transversely behind the engine, a packaging miracle given the space constraints. It shifts faster than you can blink, literally under 30 milliseconds. The car can even drive on pure electric power for about 10 miles, though that's clearly not what this beast was designed for. At $608,358, the Revuelto represents Lamborghini embracing the future without compromising their DNA. The waiting list is already over 3 years long, and dealers are reporting gray market prices approaching $1 million. Number 1 is the 2025 Ferrari SF90 with a perfect car and driver rating of 10 out of 10, priced at $593,950 with 17 miles per gallon combined. The SF90 tops our list not just because of its performance, which is absolutely amazing, but because it represents the perfect execution of the hybrid hypercar concept. It's the most well-rounded exotic car ever built. The powertrain combines a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 with 3 electric motors for a total of 986 horsepower. On paper, that's impressive, but it's how they've integrated these systems that's revolutionary. The throttle mapping is so perfectly calibrated that the transition between electric and combustion power is seamless. You never feel the handoff. The SF90 hits 60 miles per hour in 2.1 seconds. And what's crazy is you can do it repeatedly without any performance degradation. The thermal management systems are that good. The SF50's battery doesn't just power the electric motors, it also acts as a power reserve for the engine's turbochargers. In certain driving modes, it pre-spools the turbos electrically to eliminate lag. The result is throttle response that feels like a naturally aspirated engine despite being turbocharged. The carbon ceramic brakes can bring the car from 124 miles per hour to a complete stop in just 358 feet, which is physics-defying. But what's more impressive is how they've integrated the regenerative braking with the physical brakes. You cannot feel where one ends and the other begins. In my opinion, at $593,950, the SF90 isn't Ferrari's most expensive model, but it is their most significant. It proves that hybridization doesn't mean compromise. It means having your cake and eating it too. You get hypercar performance with day-to-day drivability, stunning Italian design with cutting-edge technology, and even 16 miles of pure electric range for those early morning starts when you don't want to wake the neighbors. Personally, the SF50 is the one I'd actually want to own. It's the new benchmark for what a modern hypercar should be. And that's a wrap. Which of these luxury rides feel the most you? And if money wasn't an issue, which one would you be driving tomorrow? Let me know in the comments. Before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more, click on our other videos. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching.